Hello everyone, welcome to 6283 Qualitative Research Cross Report. We are the sixth group. Members are Ying Hao, Xie Xiaoyu, Zhang Hanwen, Liu Luwei, and Li Xiaoyu. Our topic is Study on Social Adaptation of Malaysia Chinese International Students. Our panelists will then introduce you to the structure of the research paper in the following order: abstract, introduction, literature review, methodology, results, discussion, conclusion. In this paper, we studied the level of social adjustment of international students from mainland China at UKM and UM. We analyzed the social adaptation in three aspects: academic adaptation status, life adaptation status, and psychological adaptation status. In the analysis of academic adaptation status, the perspectives of facing difficulties and how to solve them were chosen to analyze the degree and the status of academic adaptation of Chinese students. In the analysis of life adaptation, language adaptation, identity adaptation, social participation, and leisure arrangement were selected as the research dimensions to analyze the degree and status of life adaptation of Chinese students. In the psychological adaptation analysis, the psychological adaptation status and psychological adaptation characteristics of Chinese students were summarized through the analysis of interview data. Through participant observation and semi-structured interviews, the factors affecting the social adaptation and access to social support of Chinese students in Malaysia were analyzed, and then suggestions were made on how to enhance and improve their social adaptation in university. Introduction. Studying in the social adjustment of international students is important because it can provide insight into the challenges and successes that these students face when adjusting to a new culture and educational system. Understanding these challenges can inform the development of support and resources for international students, as well as inform the design of more effective cross-cultural education programs. This can ultimately lead to improved academic and social outcomes for international students, which can have benefits for both the students and the institutions they attend. Studying the social adjustment of Chinese students in Malaysia specifically is important because it provides a deeper understanding of the unique experiences and challenges that these students may face, such as language barriers, cultural differences, and discrimination. This information can be used to create targeted support and resources for Chinese students in Malaysia to help them succeed academically and socially. Additionally, studying in social adjustment of Chinese students in Malaysia can also provide insight into dynamics of the relationship between China and Malaysia and how it impacts the international students. Overall, studying the social adaptability of Chinese students in Malaysia is crucial to ensure that these students have the resources and the support they need to succeed and make the most of their study abroad experience, and also to improve the relationship between China and Malaysia. Research questions and objectives. First, qualitative analysis of the current social adjustment of Chinese students in Malaysia with different majors and academic degrees. 4 dimensions: academic adjustment, life adjustment, psychological adjustment, and comprehensive adjustment. Second, quantitative analysis of social adjustment, psychological adjustment, and comprehension of social support levels among international students in Malaysia of different ages, majors, and education levels. Third, suggestions on how to improve the level of social adjustment of Chinese students in Malaysia. First of all, I would like to give you a brief overview of the literature consulted for this study on the social adjustment of Chinese students in Malaysia. Most of the literature was published within the last 10 years, and such literature is significantly informative for our study, and not only because of the rapid changes in contemporary society. Research on social adaptation, academic adaptation, adaptation, and psychological adaptation of Chinese students in Malaysia has shown a mixed picture. Social adjustment part. Studies have found that Chinese students in Malaysia generally have a positive experience when it comes to social adaptation. They tend to find a sense of belonging in the local community, and many report feeling welcomed and accepted by their peers and teachers. However, some studies have also found that Chinese students may face challenges in building meaningful relationships with local students due to language barriers and cultural differences. Academic adjustment part. Chinese students in Malaysia generally report feeling academically prepared for their studies, but some studies have found that Chinese students may face challenges in adjusting to the teaching methods and assessment practice in Malaysia. Additionally, some Chinese students may struggle with the language requirements of their program, which can make it difficult for them to fully participate in class discussions and complete assignments. Life adjustment part. Chinese students in Malaysia generally report feeling satisfied with their overall experience in the country. However, some studies have found that Chinese students may face challenges in adjusting into the local customs and lifestyle, such as food and transportation. Additionally, some Chinese students may have difficulty finding affordable and suitable accommodation. Psychological adjustment part. Studies have found that Chinese students in Malaysia generally report high levels of psychological well-being. However, some studies have found that Chinese students may experience feelings of homesickness, isolation, and stress due to the cultural and linguistic differences they experience in Malaysia. So it is important to know that these findings are based on the research conducted by different sources and may not represent the experiences of every Chinese student. Additionally, these findings may vary depending on the time frame and of the research, and the sample size and the region of the study. And additionally, some studies have also suggested that Chinese students in Malaysia may face discrimination and negative stereotypes based on their ethnicity. These experiences can have a negative impact on their psychological well-being and may also lead to difficulty in their social and academic adjustment. Finally, it is important to know that these findings suggested that while Chinese students in Malaysia generally report positive experiences, there are still challenges and barriers that they may face in their social, academic, life, and psychological adjustment. Therefore, it is important for universities and colleges to provide support and resources that address these challenges and help Chinese students succeed academically and socially. In conclusion, research on social, academic life, and the psychological adjustment of Chinese students in Malaysia have shown a mixed picture. And it is important for universities and colleges to be aware of these challenges and to provide support and resources to Chinese students to help them succeed.
Now, let's talk about why we choose qualitative research. For Chinese students studying in Malaysia, the study abroad life has both the same progressive adaptation process as well as their own unique social and emotional experience. If only quantitative research is used to measure and detect the relevant target characteristic of the target group, although many common characteristic and similar experiences of the target group can be counted. It is also possible to recognize the difference among individual members of the target group in the survey. So, qualitative research is more suitable for studies that want to describe the dynamics and the details of the object of study, because it can refer the point of study and express the circumstances behind the phenomenon. If qualitative research is used, analysis of the data collected through the author's interviews will allow comparison of meaning and exchange of the text with each other. Using qualitative research, it is also possible to make full use of the information obtained from the interviews to comprehensively represent the content of the study. The researcher can analyze to obtain information in detail to obtain the content that the research subjects themselves intentionally avoid or deliberately conserve and dig deeper into the research subject to comprehensively achieve the purpose of the study. The study used a same-structure interview method. The interviews were conducted in an open-ended manner, allowing the interviews themselves to describe the various adaptations in the course of study a student's life at university. The interviews were allowed to talk as much as they wanted, without any guidance or limitation. This is the contents of our interview, which is divided into four aspects. First, it is about question in academically. Second, it is about question in life. Then it is about psychologically. And finally, it is about comprehensive.
Methodology, subject selection method, purpose sampling. According to the research objectives of their paper, the research objects were selected purposefully. Snowball sampling. In the process of searching for interviewees, the Chinese international students who met the sample research criteria and met the sample research standards during the study at UKM or were identified as the interviewees with the consent of the other party. Criteria for Chinese students studying abroad: Chinese is their mother tongue. Study in public universities. Interview channel. Due to the epidemic situation and the arrangement of the school's teaching form, WeChat, Tencent QQ, Tencent Meeting, and other forms of interviews were used in the interview process. It is convenient for the interviewee to answer more freely so as to obtain interview information. Data analysis methods. The organization of data is mainly based on records. After the interview, classify according to the content and the research needs, and classify according to the research objectives and the research content. Secondly, the questionnaire survey were analyzed using SPSS, and the results were obtained. The content of the interview is analyzed through the QDA system. QDA MailerLite is a quantitative data analysis software. Create statistical variables, code data, visualize results, and export results by importing files. They come from different majors, different colleges, and have different academic qualifications.
Before presenting the results, we would like to show you a screenshot of the interview process and then present the results for you.
Informants, themes, life adaptation, friendship, interaction, culture, homesickness and isolation. Very friendly to me and have helped me a lot. Friendly, different living habits. Miss my loved ones in my hometown. No friends, very low frequency, almost nothing. Unable to fit in small social circle, very lonely. Going to networking events is a very quick way to make friends. The people here are very friendly. It's a very friendly country. Sometimes miss my relatives. Many friends. Making friends in the classroom. Making friends in after school activities. Night working during group work. No problem. Passive. Not straightforward enough. No, not straightforward enough. Talking about people behind their backs. Social stability, good weather, good people, slow pace of life, transportation, facility, facilities and are not convenient. Normal, don't want to go home, missing friends and food. Usually very friendly and helpful. Respect the religious beliefs of each nationality and do not actively violate those taboos. There are some cannot understand homesickness during the holiday season, still feel like they don't fit into the environment. Fall themes, linguistic, academic, support, resources. Linguistic, poor language communication, teaching methods, a lot of work, way to study. Turn to my local classmates for help. Chinese international students, classmates, friends, roommates, teachers. Not good enough communication is difficult. Homework is completed slowly. Communication is difficult. Difficult to discuss professional issues. Teachers, classmates, communication, internet. Biggest difficulty. The difference in language teaching methods. Can't understand well. Ask my classmates, teachers and classmates. Biggest problem. Learning style is more self-directed. Information retrievals skills. Hands-on skills. Teacher classmate self-learning. More important. Emotional self-control, self-reflection. Relation rationalization. No problem to understand. Poor exception. Poor scientific output. The interaction is quite pleasant. The teacher has a degree of passion and the ability for research. Methods are very open to communication. Everything on their own. No dependence and little friends. Network yourself. Mentor. Being away, culture shock, emotion, support, and resources. There is a difference. Different living habits, feeling alone and helpless. Indeed, have difference from local students and people, mainly in language and lifestyle. First came here, I felt lonely, but after living more time, become less lonely. I made friends and got used to it. Never had a sense of belonging. Not direct enough. Won't say your problem directly. Discuss behind your back. Maintain courtesy on the surface. Bureaucracy. Feel lonely whenever you are. Find friends to chat to relieve their emotions. They don't have time to watch movies by themselves, play the piano, read books, drink tea, write something. No sense of belonging. A passerby. Feel that the school itself does not identify with us people either. Doing things rigidly does not know how to adapt. The public transportation system is poor. Many things are also relying on domestic imports. Of course, you will feel lonely. Have something to eat. Walk around outside. Maybe it's because I haven't been to many other places here, so I don't have such a high sense of belonging. Ethnicity is quite diverse. Religious country, prayer many times a day. Loneliness, especially when one has nothing to do at hand. Movement, network, friends. Balancing, managing, understanding. The local food and the scenery. Humanities, miss expectation, came to study, might try it if there is another option. Most of them are the same customs, food, and beauty. Study, understand various customs, expand one's horizons, learn professional knowledge, exceed expectations, return home as a teacher, continue studying, average a little worse than expected, look for a job, go to another country, continuing graduate studies after graduation. Will still come here to study. Independent learning ability has improved a lot. Also learned some extracurricular skills.
Okay, hello everyone. Now it's my part. My name is Li Xiaoyu. My register number is P114839. Study life, psychology, final 3 themes. Okay, let's look at the students' solutions to the difficulties of study. The first student said, I think the biggest difficulty in learning is the difference in language and teaching methods, and I can't understand the meaning of the teacher well. When I encounter difficulties, I will ask my teachers and classmates for help. They are very friendly and will help me, and we will also help each other. The second student said, the teaching methods in China and Malaysia are different, which made it difficult for me to adapt quickly. Then the workload is relatively large. When I encounter difficulties, I will ask my classmates and friends for help. They are very friendly and will give me some professional advice and help. The last student said the biggest difficulty is that you can't see your grades until one semester during the course, so it's hard to assess what kind of score you will get before the results are released. I'm a bit of an oddball in learning. I have my own ideas about writing assignments, but I'm a bit resentful of the teacher's requests. In general, I'm a bit better than before. Okay, now let's look at the students' solutions to the difficulties of life. The first student said, there is nothing wrong with all aspects of life. Find the right way to buy clothes and pants is very cheap and convenient. And now you can also buy things directly from Taobao, directly from the sea. This set of the clothes and pants is also very interesting because the temperature is relatively high but also very humid. A lot of clothes and pants is very loose and comfortable. The variety of local food is relatively monotonous, definitely not as good as in China, but after a long time you get used to it. I can't say too much about it because I've been living in a dormitory here. I don't want to go home, but I miss my friends and food back home. However, I don't often participate in a social activities of the locals. Although most people are quite nice, there are many people who are not direct enough and like to whisper about you behind your back. And the public people are also very rude and inflexible, and the bureaucratic atmosphere is very heavy. Second student said, overall, life is good. I travel a lot, participate in school activities, and don't miss home when I'm awake. But I still miss home in my dreams. Most of the local people are more welcoming to us, and I think Malaysia is more welcoming to foreigners. It's not a bad place to be. I also participated in various local social events 3 or 4 times a month and played sports with the locals. I had a good time in various activities. The last student said that Malaysia is a friendly and safe country. The people and teachers here were very friendly and helpful to me. This has released me of a lot of loneliness and fear in a foreign country. Sometimes I feel homesick and miss my family back home. I often participate in various activities of the locals. Yes, because it is a quiet way to adapt to the local life. It has also helped me to understand Malaysia better. It has helped me a lot in my life and making friends. But I still feel different from being a student at home because of the poor language communication and different living habits. I still feel a lot bit fundamentally different from here. Okay, now let's see the student's solution of the difficulties of psychology. The first student said, I certainly feel lonely here. Although there are also many Chinese over here, but the thinking pattern and behavior is very different from the Chinese. If you can adapt to this difference, they are very optimistic, talkative, outgoing, and will read the ear. When I feel tired, playing games, videoing with my girlfriend, taking a nap and eating a big meal can make me feel better. What arrangements there are for the future after that depend on the postdoctoral application situation and my girlfriend's arrangements. Basically, we are planning to go to a city for postdoctoral studies afterwards. If the conditions and treatment for returning to China are good, why not return to it? The intention is to teach at a domestic university, which is quite easy to say. The second student said that I really don't have a sense of belonging to this school, or to this city, or to this country. I don't think I am the owner of the school, and I don't know if other local students think they do. But in psychological terms, I think I don't have a sense of belonging. No matter where I am, I feel lonely. If they don't have time, I watch movies, play the piano, read books, drink tea, or write something by myself. What about the future? I don't know. After graduating, I continue to study, so now I have no intention of going back. The last student said that, no, so far I do not have any sense of belonging to the school because it is public university. Although over the years the school has expanded the number of Chinese students, but the school is still more people from other countries and nationalities, so only see themselves as a school passerby, there to complete their studies and live well. I think the school itself does not identify with us people, not to mention ourselves. I don't think the school itself identifies with us, let alone whether we see ourselves as the owners of the school. If you are tired, you can eat something and talk outside, and now the price of public transportation has dropped a lot, so you can go out and walk around in various small places when you have nothing to do. Discussion. Academic adaptation refers to the process by which Chinese students adjust to the academic requirements and expectations in Malaysia. Based on the interview results, This includes navigating different educational systems, adapting to different teaching styles, and understanding the expectations of local teachers. Life adaptation refers to the process by which Chinese students adapt to the culture, society, and daily life in Malaysia. This may include adapting to different customs, establishing new social networks, and learning how to navigate daily life in a foreign country. Psychological adaptation refers to the emotional and psychological well-being of Chinese students during the transition to study in Malaysia. This may include dealing with homesickness, culture shock, and adjusting to the new environment. During the interviews, Chinese students studying in Malaysia did face some challenges in terms of academic adaptation. For example, the Malaysian academic system is often perceived as less rigid and requiring more flexibility and autonomy than in China. Chinese students may find it difficult to adjust to this more relaxed learning environment and may struggle with a lack of academic rigor. In addition, Chinese students may have difficulty understanding the Malaysian teaching style, which may be very different from the style that they used. To overcome these challenges, Chinese students may need to seek additional support, such as tutoring or academic advising. They may also need to develop effective learning strategies, such as setting up study groups or finding study partners. In addition, they may benefit from connecting with their professor and asking for clarification and guidance on how to succeed in the local academic system. When it comes to adjusting to life during the interview, Chinese students do face some cultural differences that can be difficult to navigate. For example, they may have difficulty understanding Malaysian customs and social norms, which can lead to feelings of isolation and alienation. In addition, they may have difficulty finding housing, making friends, and building a sense of community at school or in the neighborhood where they live.
To overcome these challenges, Chinese students may need to actively seek opportunities to engage with the local community, such as joining clubs or organizations. They may also benefit from seeking support from other international students or organizations that provide services, especially for the international students. In addition, they may find it helpful to immerse themselves in the local culture by participating in cultural events and festivals or taking local language classes. Finally, when it comes to psychological adjustment, Chinese students may face some emotional and mental health challenges. For example, they may struggle with homesickness, which can lead to feelings of depression and anxiety. In addition, they may experience culture shock, which can lead to feelings of disorientation and confusion. To overcome these challenges, Chinese students may need to seek counseling or therapy. They may also benefit from developing coping strategies, such as staying in touch with friends and families back home and engaging in activities that promote self-care, such as exercise or positive thinking exercises. In addition, they may find it helpful to seek out support groups or Malaysia's Chinese students clubs, which can provide a sense of community and belonging. In summary, Chinese students studying in Malaysia may face some challenges in adjusting academically, living, and psychologically to their host country. However, By seeking support and developing effective strategies, they can successfully navigate these challenges and thrive in their new environment. The study showed that respondents generally find it difficult to communicate verbally. Language was the biggest barrier. They have some stress and negative emotional experience, but also positive self-development. Chinese students have better psychological and social adjustment ability and high satisfaction with life. Even if they have many discomfort at the beginning, most of them can improve after living for a period of time. The confidence in self-academic success is average. The level and degree of sense of school belonging and national identity are still low compared to those in China. For the subsequent study, we elaborate on the shortcomings based on the current study. The selection criteria for interview subjects were vague, and the study could have clarified and refined the criteria for selecting interview subjects. The criteria for the interview process were vague, although semi-structured interviews were used and subjects were allowed to elaborate on their personal experiences as an entry point, and the study could have been clearer about when each interview question ended. The criteria for organizing the interview results were vague, as the study could have refined the process of coding and organizing the interview content more, as the number and quality of questions successfully interviewed were consistent with what was expected as the interviews were conducted. Suggestions: learning, improve language usage skills, build up a good professional knowledge base, adaptation of study habits, adjustment of study time, adaptation of study style. Life: participate in activities organized by the university and college. Participate in various activities organized by religious organizations. Make full use of research environment around you. Listen to and watch a lot of local programs. Participate in specialized training. Psychology: have an objective evaluation of yourself. Forgive yourself. Show kindness to others and accept grace to seek help. Thank you for listening.